What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Stocks with Mike and Tom show. We have a lot to talk about today. We have some big news with China stocks. We have news with Cathie Woods and Michael Burry. We're also going to be covering this Robinhood earnings report, which was crazy. Overall, we have a lot of great plays in today's video and some very important news. So make sure you guys stick around to the end of the video. And also, if you are new here, don't forget to subscribe. We post brand new videos every single day. But Tom, let's get right into it.
Yeah, Cathie Wood actually came out today. She's really defending herself and came out with a pretty lengthy interview with CNBC. And CNBC reports that Cathie Wood says that stocks are not in a bubble, thinks that investors betting against her fund are really off base. And CNBC is saying that on Monday, regulatory filings spotted by CNBC Pro showed Michael Burry's betting against Woods's ARK Innovation ETF, which is ARKK, which I have pulled up here on the charts. They're pretty much saying that Burry's Scion Asset Management bought 2,355 put contracts against the red hot ETF during the second quarter and held them all the way to the end of that period. So pretty interesting there. And it's just interesting to see Cathie Wood coming out and defending herself so strongly on this type of report. And, I would expect that she's probably pretty surprised by it. And, I guess she just has to kind of defend her reputation here because it's kind of like a war. You have Cathie Wood kind of going against Michael Burry here. And it's kind of like a war of like these two very highly influential people. And they can definitely influence a lot of traders, especially the retail traders. Like I know a lot of people follow Burry and follow Cathie. So they definitely have a strong backing behind them. And it's just fun to kind of see them hitting back at each other like this.
For sure. So for those of you who don't know, Michael Burry was one of the people who kind of called the housing/mortgage crisis back in 2008 before it happened. Both of these people are incredibly intelligent and have a lot of respect in the financial world. So I'm very interested to see how the ARK fund performs and all that. So lots of good info there. And then Tom, I was looking at the SPY today and it was kind of all over the place. Like it gapped down and it ran right up. What's going on?
Yeah, there's not too much news like as far as the market goes, but it did actually recover up today, which was nice to see. And there wasn't really a big catalyst for this. I think the main thing is just that early on this morning, we saw stocks actually gap down. The SPY itself actually moved really low this morning to 434.50. But we saw lots of stocks, like if we just go check out Apple or just about anything, just about every stock gapped down this morning, like Apple, Microsoft, DKNG, Boeing, like you name it, it gapped down this morning. So it was a pretty weird day. And even if the stock ended up, it seemed like it just recovered at open. And we did see a few stocks recover, kind of like how we saw the SPY, get back up there. So it was a pretty interesting day to say the least. But after two pretty bad red days, I'm not too surprised to see a little bit of a green consolidation day here today. But there was some weird news that came out with the CDC. Their director, Dr. Rochelle Walensky, came out today and said that Americans may not need a yearly COVID-19 booster shot after getting this third shot, or the third booster shot that they're calling it now. And this might be affecting Moderna and Pfizer. It probably didn't affect the overall market too much, but there's not too much news affecting the market really to bring it up today necessarily, other than just some stocks doing pretty well. Like we did have some stocks in the green today, like Netflix and Nvidia, but besides those two, it was a majority in the red. So I'm surprised to see it recover up kind of as drastically as it did.
Gotcha. And then let's also take a look at that Robinhood stock, ticker symbol HOOD. I see that they're down 10% today, but I heard their revenue was pretty good.
Yeah, the revenue was actually pretty great, Mike. I mean, the revenue was actually up 131% from a period last year where they had $244 million a year ago in revenue, and now they're actually at the higher range of their forecast, around 546 million to 574 million. So that's an amazing thing to see there. But in the end, they still ended up down. You can see Robinhood down 10% today at close today, down 8% last night after this earnings came out. And just looking at it, look at that EPS at minus 2.16, just not looking good. A lot of people weren't expecting Robinhood to have the best numbers or anything, but I'm guessing a lot were expecting, they were not expecting negative numbers, especially negative 2.16. That's a pretty bad first EPS by Robinhood.
For sure. And then, Tom, we have to cover these China stocks. Like stocks like Baba, Baidu, JD, and FXI are just getting demolished. Like, especially if we look at Baba, like, it just looks brutal. They're just selling off so bad. They're down like 7% today. I mean, the implied volatility is skyrocketing on this. And, like, can you give us some support levels or anything to watch out for?
For sure. And man, it is getting destroyed. Unfortunately, this China news is just continuing to sell off, but there's a huge support on Baba down here, right around $150. We're about 10 points away from there. 150 is very strong. Look for Baba to really hold there, kind of like how $200 was a pretty strong resistance. Once we broke through 200, now it's just almost been straight down to like 160. So really watch out. I think 150 will be the main area to look for. And we did have a pretty big resistance around like 163, but we ended up breaking that today to the downside as well. So overall, I mean, these stocks are just continuing to go down at such a drastic rate. I mean, it's just really scary, to be honest. And I'm sure it's shaking out a lot of investors right now. Like, man, I imagine buying Baba at 200 and having to watch it fall now to 160.
For sure. So I think the best way to play these ones is let's head over to FXI. This is basically a China ETF. And I think the best way to play it is to sell some puts. Like if we look at FXI, and let's say we go out to like the October 15th expiration date, if you sell like the 38 strike puts, you'll get paid around like $130 cash today. And in the worst case scenario, you have to pick up shares at $38 each. So either way, I guess it's kind of a risky trade, but I just think the best way to go is to, let that high implied volatility work for you. And in the worst case scenario, you buy low. But I know that a lot of people have a lot of different opinions regarding these China stocks.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of mixed opinions here. I think the $38 support on FXI looks like it'll end up holding up for the long term. So hopefully it ends up holding there. If not, then maybe all these Chinese stocks are just going to continue to sell off because it's going to be pretty bad. I think if like Baba starts breaking that 150 support, and if we start seeing JD and others just continue to fall, I mean, man, it's going to get pretty bad. And I've heard that there's a lot of like weird stuff, like China's cracking down on like US investors into certain stocks and stuff. So, just have it on the radar. It's definitely like a very strange catalyst with the market. And, it's really hurting the Chinese stocks only, which is a good thing. Good thing it's not like translating over like into the overall market.
For sure. All right, well, let's get right into our momentum plays. With the first momentum play, we have UPST.
Yep, Upstart had a great day today. Actually, like to the downside, but a great play nonetheless. If you were playing it below that support around 210, which was pretty big yesterday, but go ahead and make them fall below 190 tomorrow.
All right, with the next one, we have NIO, and this one is also really tanking.
Yep, really falling off to the downside. Make them break below 36. They actually got pretty close towards the end of the day there.
All right, and with the last one, we have Exxon Mobil.
Yep, oil unfortunately is getting killed, but make them fall below $52.
All right, so we are watching these three plays for potential day trades to the downside tomorrow. Basically, if they break below the levels Tom listed, we like them for quick in and out day trades to the downside. But now let's highlight our member of the day today. So today's member of the day is Jason. Huge shout out Jason from the YouTube comments. He's always leaving comments and they really help grow the channel. And he has a lot of great insights. So huge shout out Jason. Thanks so much for all the comments. But Tom, it is now time for the $7.2 million trade that expires tomorrow. We are looking at the Moderna 400 strike call options, like I said, that expire tomorrow. So I'm definitely going to say the smart money is shorting these calls. They expire tomorrow and they're pretty far out of the money.
Yeah, I would say they're shorting them as well. Just look at this 5-day, 15-minute chart. It looks like Moderna is starting to really slide off. That move down today was pretty bad, actually. And we had the SPY kind of recover itself back up throughout the day. So Moderna definitely had a bad downwards move, down 5.8%. Not good at all there. And like you said, Mike, these calls expire tomorrow, which to me is just hilarious. All the way up there at $400. It's like, sure, we could hit that, but man, if this is a covered call, this is going to be pretty smart by them.
Yeah, I would think it's definitely a covered call. It's kind of like a win-win situation, and I just think that's the most logical answer. So let's get right into the comments from the previous video. With the first comment, we have Susan saying, "How do you guys feel about Beyond?" So BYND, I make really good money when I buy calls after it tanks, but I don't know if it's going to keep dropping or spike up. So it's not bad. It's down like 3% today. And just the market's kind of whack right now. We're seeing a lot of stocks selling off. So I don't think it's a horrible play, but I just think if you do enter it, I think it would just be smarter to just enter light or just average in.
Yeah, I think that's pretty smart too. And I have a pretty big support down here around like 115, 113, kind of like where we are today, but I would be really careful with it. It looks like to me like we could definitely go down and possibly retest $100 over the next few weeks. Kind of like Mike said, the overall market's going down and we're seeing some huge stocks, even like Tesla and NIO getting hit really hard. So don't be surprised if other ones like Beyond start getting hit too.
All right, and then we have Kamal saying VXX is on my radar for tomorrow. So I think that's definitely a great thing to watch out for. For those of you who want to know like how to play the market to the downside, when the market tanks, VXX normally pops up pretty well. SPXS also does very well, but I would say the main one to watch is VXX. Whenever there's uncertainty or the market's tanking, this stock will pop. So I think it's definitely a good one to watch out for. And man, Tom, it had a wild day today.
Yeah, it did. It actually had a pretty big like up and down type of day. In pre-market, it was actually flying up to like $31. And then actually it opened, we tanked down right down to the $29 support and hitting off the 1,000 SMA on the 1 minute, came right back up, retested $31, failed to break out and just kind of consolidated. I would say though, it still looks pretty strong for tomorrow. And with the SPY kind of recovering up, I'm glad to see that VXX kind of held its ground because sometimes VXX will fly up, 8%, kind of like it did over the past couple of days, and then fall another 5% the next day. So I'm glad to see that it held its ground and it ended up not really tanking off today too much.
For sure. And then we had Samora saying, awesome trade on Apple and Tilray today. You guys rock. So thanks for that comment. Apple, it tried to run up today, but I'll tell you, like it really lagged behind other tech stocks like Microsoft. Like Microsoft exploded, Tom. Like I was kind of surprised looking at this chart.
Yeah, me too. I mean, man, that really broke out and even broke above the high of yesterday pretty significantly. And just looking at the max daily, I mean, Microsoft's getting up towards that all-time high again of $300. And man, it's crazy to see them running up this way. And I could not believe the way they broke out, to be honest. I mean, that was really insane. And I guess that's why the SPY and the QQQ started flying up, just because Microsoft, Apple, and a couple of these other tech stocks, for some reason, just had a huge end of day like resurgence there.
For sure. And then, guys, don't forget if you want to trade with Tom, myself, and our bots every single day, you can click that first link in the description down below. You can cancel at any time. You'll be able to talk with Tom and myself all day long, and you can follow all the daily options, swing trades, day trades, all of our custom bots, and all that stuff. Generally, the bots are pretty hot, so definitely check it out. It's that first link in the description down below. And then, Tom, like, what are some of the top stocks you're watching for tomorrow?
We talked about one of them in my momentum or in the momentum plays, but looking at them, I think Exxon Mobil is still another great option for a stock to the downside. Looking at it, there's a low of $52. Oil's been down a lot lately. And it's been really selling off below that $65 support level. And it did kind of come back today very slightly. So maybe look for it to start to fall back down to the downside. I just think that oil has been up a lot the past 6 months to a year, and you can see how much these oil stocks have been recovering. And I just think we could get more downwards movement out of ZOM, maybe CVX too. So definitely watch those. I'll also have my eye on GLD still as well. They didn't really move too much today with the market the way it is, but I'll definitely be watching for them to possibly start to pop back up, especially if the SPY keeps falling off, because sometimes whenever gold, whenever the market goes down, gold generally rises, but we'll have to see. It's very strange right now with all the stuff going on. The oil market's going to be affecting the dollar. Looks like the dollar here is actually really starting to break out back to the upside, and looks like that 92 support held up. So maybe gold will end up going down. We'll just have to see how the landscape ends up playing out, and who knows, maybe gold will actually go down with the market this time. We'll have to see how it ends up going.
True that. So, like, I would say the top stock I'm watching is NIO. This stock has just been getting hammered over like the past couple weeks or so, and I think it's such a win-win situation. If you sell some puts on it, you can literally get paid to buy this stock at a low price, and it's only a win-win if you like the stock for the long term. Keep that in mind. But I really like it, and it's definitely on my radar. Everyone loves to pump stocks when they're breaking their all-time highs, but no one loves to talk about them when they're like 50% off their all-time high. So I just want to bring it up. NIO looks pretty good in my opinion for the long term. But besides that, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. If you learned something or you liked the video, definitely don't forget to subscribe. We post brand new videos every single day. But other than that, thanks for watching.